questions. They're eating cats and dogs. Got a question from Mark Vilify. He wanted to know, since I worked in Miami, we have a huge Haitian population down here, what my thoughts are of working with Haitian people. Well, for the most part, they're pretty much the nicest people you'll ever meet. Never really had too many issues with the general population of Haitian people, but the Haitian gangs in the North Miami area, North Miami Beach area, were about as vicious as you can get. A lot of sporadic gunfire into crowds, a lot of hits. The gangs were just fighting each other mostly. They weren't killing just regular people. It was mostly infighting, but when that infighting took place, it got pretty nasty. We had a young man, a shoplifter at the mall where I worked, and he was fleeing from mall security. It wasn't from cops. We were called. Unfortunately, that man jumped from the second floor of the garage to the first floor, and somehow he didn't land right on his feet, landed on the back of his head, and by the time I got there, unfortunately, the young man was expiring. 19-year-old guy dies from contusion to the back of his head. So he was a Haitian gang member, and about a week later at his funeral, a rival Haitian gang showed up, and they opened up with machine guns inside the funeral home. Killed a few people, wounding a lot, so pretty hardcore. But so are the Haitians more violent than anyone else? I grew up in Brooklyn. I grew up with the mob, in the 70s and 80s. I wasn't far. I actually grew up near a place called the Gemini Lounge, which was an infamous place where people were murdered and chopped up by a gentleman named Roy DeMeo. I mean, every group of immigrants that come over here have their own gangs and do their own violence, and so I would say they're just like any other immigrant group. I've never saw them, I never had any issues with them eating cats or dogs. I've never heard of it. We had some animal sacrifices on the courthouse, the Miami-Dade courthouse. Some voodoo practices of they would kill a chicken on the steps, or bring parts of a goat or something, or burn some sort of bones. But never heard of any stories of Haitians eating cats or dogs or ducks or anything like that in 20 years. So I would be interested if any of my other fellow cops in Miami ever heard of such a thing, but I never heard of it. So that's my opinion.